Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the entrance point. Most of my entrants, obviously, they are from the strong daily level. I only trade any entrance point from the daily level, nothing else. So in this case scenario, I want to show to you a few variation of basically how I trade. Usually, in the most important way, I try to show it in a blank piece of paper because a lot of times when you see a chart, on the chart, your eyes are pretty much closed. What does it mean? For example, if you look at the chart, you already figure it out. There's something is there, and it's very hard to take a decision and make a decision. So every time you just take a plain piece of paper. Today it's going to be let's say a pane, for example. I always will show you in a pane for one simple thing. If you can basically take from the pane and put it in a chart, you'll understand what to do. You cannot do vice versa for one simple thing, because when you see in chart, and especially when you see a right side, you already see what's going on. So this right side is definitely definitely going to give you a hard time as far as to making a decision. So when you build, let's say, a system, or you build a trading strategy or anything else, the most important thing for you, it's on a blank piece of paper, understand what's going on. So today I'm going to show it to you and you'll understand. So we'll start. There's a few different styles of trading, and today we're going to talk about a few of them. The first one is just a regular breakout, right? So what do you expect? You just expect the stock is going to do something like this. But you should understand one thing. There's a few things which goes before it's going to be a breakout. You cannot just trade simple breakout just because it's a breakout. First of all, you have to have an energy of the accumulation, right? So for example, the stock should try to stay, in this case, below the level just to accumulate the position. Why? Because the stock, in order for that to break out, it has to have plenty of energy. If the stock doesn't have energy, you definitely going to have an issue for one simple thing. The breakout without the energy is not a breakout. A lot of times it's going to be a false breakout. Or if you see just a simple breakout, you should understand one thing. If it has no energy, it means probably it was just the news there. Since we don't know the news in advance, we cannot trade the news in advance, and we have to understand only the way we trade. So in order basically for the stock to break out, you have to, as I said, it has to be accumulation of the energy. There's a few different ways. For example, the stock should consolidate. There's another way. For example, if the stock is going, is hitting the level, it's pulling back, and then basically it's going on retest, then we can expect the breakout. But in every possible way, you should understand one thing. The breakouts, they definitely need the energy. How they conduct the energy, as I said, they accumulate in the position. Then they have a stop orders on the top of it. So every time you expect the stock to break, you should see some pictures, which is basically allows you to understand that this is going to be a breakout. For example, if you see something like this, small and nice accumulation, right? The stock is going this way. If you see something like this, you should understand that most likely is going to be breakout. Why? Because it looks like that somebody is accumulating the position towards the level. And you should understand one thing. Against the level, there's a lot of limit orders for sale, in this case there. So this buyer, what he's trying to do, he's trying to clean the way in order for the breakout to be much easier. When you see something like this, you understand most likely it's going to be either false, or it's going to be basically trading from the level, against the level. So in this particular case scenario, when you see something like this, especially if here was accumulation, right, of the position, in that case scenario, you should clearly look for the breakout. Clearly look for the breakout. That's what it is. Okay, so we'll go to a different picture. What to do in this case and how to operate with the breakout. First of all, as I said, you're waiting for the position to get accumulated. The longer the accumulation is, the bigger is the channel, the easier for the stock is going to break out. Why? Because it's building and holding a lot of energy. Once it basically has a lot of energy right here, it has all the chances to go higher. That's what it is. So once the stock is built in the position, it can easily break out for one simple thing, because it really accumulated the position. We are now talking only about the daily chart. This is a daily chart. So in this case scenario, it's very simple stuff. You put a buy stop here. Why? Because you don't want to buy when the instrument is going below the level, because you don't know if it's definitely going to be a breakout. First of all, if it's a limit seller, it's not that easy to break. So you put a buy stop and you wait until basically it's going to break, it's going to touch your stop order, and then hopefully the stock is going to fly. So in this case scenario, you have accumulation energy, you have a level, and you have a price, and you know where to put a stop. Stops, losses, they always go below the level if you buy above the level. Second thing, we call it a false breakout simple way. What is a false breakout in the simple way? It's when you basically expect from one bar, it's a breakout, but it cannot go any higher. So once the stock goes below the level, you want to participate here. It's going to look this way. We call it a simple false breakout in one bar. In this case scenario, you want to make sure that the energy was basically going up and up and up. So this way, that at one point, the energy is going to end. Once the energy is going to end, you understand that it's going to be false. Why? Because once the energy is out of the picture, then you understand it's a false breakout. In this case scenario, the most important thing, when you wait for the breakout, you have to see how deep the stock is going to go up or down in this case scenario in order to understand if it's going to be false or not. If the stock is supposed to break and supposed to give a big move, but it's not doing a big move, most likely it's going to be a false breakout in one bar. So in this case scenario, once the stock broke, you put a sell stop order here because you understand the energy is there, right? And all of this energy is going to be moved to move the stock towards the different side. One more thing. It's a false breakout with the two bars. This is a completely different scenario for false breakout in one bar. So what it is, first of all, basically one bar, which is breaking, we call it the breaking bar, supposed to close at the opposite way of the level right here. So for example, this is a sell, this is a long side. So bar has to close. Another bar has to open right here. So what is the big guy is doing it? He say, guys, look at this. I opened it in an opposite side. I'm a very strong buyer. I bought it through the breakout. Everything is fine. Look at this, buy with me. So he activates the buy stops of buyers and buy stops of the short sellers. In another bar, look at what he's doing. And he said, guys, yeah, I'm very strong. Not only I close in an opposite way, I also open an opposite way, which shows there is a buyer. So he attracts long buyers, and the people basically is trying to buy this. Once they buy, you put a sell stop right here. Why? Because you say one thing, if it's a false breakout, I want to participate. So what does it mean? If the stock is going to go here, it means a definitely false breakout. So in this case scenario, you understand, if it takes to the opposite way, that's what it is. So that's the false breakout in two bars. And another one, which is basically lots of people favorites, this is one of the safest way. This is the limit. In this case, it's a limit seller. So what it is, you look for the limit buyer or a limit seller. The most important thing in this case scenario is try to work out the deal where basically all of these levels, all of these touches are going to be one for one. Obviously, it's not always going to be a penny for penny, but a lot of times the difference between touches of these prices is going to be very nominal, very small. 1, 2, 3, 5 cents. If you trade Forex, it might be a few pips. So in this case scenario, your job is to figure it out what's going to be. So in this case scenario, you have to wait for a minimum of 3 bars, right? Minimum of 3 bars. Once you see 1, 2, 3, minimum 3 bars, you can put sell limit order. Right here, you put a sell limit order. Why? Because you're saying, okay, there's a limit seller. The instrument is not going up. The limit seller is very strong. I put a limit. Why? For one simple thing. First of all, you understand where to put a stop. So basically, you're very safe. And the second thing, you basically is getting the best price. And then one of the best prices is right here by the level. Another thing, a lot of traders, what they do, they're not getting in right here because sometimes this beautiful picture will basically followed by the false breakout. So what they're doing is waiting for the false breakout, and only then basically waiting until the stock is going to trade under the level again. Once the stock is trading under the level again, here they try to enter the trade. That's the most important thing. Okay, guys, so today, we're talking about the regular breakout, false breakout about 1 bar, false breakout about the 2 bars, and limit. This is the entrance point. You can basically use them on every time frame. That's the beautiful part, because they're basically unique in every possible way, and basically you can use them on a 5-minute bar, 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, 30-minute chart, everywhere. The most important thing for you to understand that's for all of this move, you need the energy and you need a level. And if you have 2 of this, you will have no problem. Thank you very much. It's Alexander Gerchik, and good luck to you trading.